All right, shalom family. Today we are at Mockery. Mockery. Now, mockery comes from mocking, and we have an idea what mocking is, what mocking someone is. Now, this that we have, this list of things that we have, is a list of sins that have been given to us by the Most High for us to look into, because they give us greater insights into ourselves, into others, into sin in general, so we know what we must do and what we cannot do. Now let's begin with mockery with Proverbs 14 verse 9. A very insightful verse. What does it say? Etikan, what does it say?
Fools make a mock at sin, but among the righteous there is favor.
Fools make a mock at sin, but among the righteous there is favor. That means the righteous do not make a mock at sin. Now, let's get the meaning of the word mock. It's a very wide word. It means to scorn, to make mouths at, to talk arrogantly, to boast, to be inflated, to scoff, to act as a scorner, to show oneself a mocker. And in that's in the BDB lexicon, in the Strongs. To make mouths at, that is to scoff. Have in derision, which means you're laughing at someone. Make a mock, mocker, scorn. Now, it uses mock a lot and is not actually telling us what mock is. So the dictionary meaning is to treat with contempt or ridicule. To treat with contempt or ridicule. And we're going to see how easy it is to mock. And this sin series here is very, very relevant to us, for us to shape up ourselves and to get off the road of sin. Now, in the book of Isaiah, it tells us about mockers. So mocking, when you get the dictionary, the understanding, we see that when we treat anything with contempt, and what is contempt? Any English student here, tell me what contempt is. Contempt, the act of despising, the state of mind of one who despises. See how easy it is to be a mocker. Disdain, lack of respect or reverence for something. So the word disdain there means a feeling of contempt. It uses the same word for something or someone regarded as unworthy or inferior. Scorn, to look on with scorn. So with this series, we need to just look into ourselves, because already I'm looking in myself and see how many times I have mocked. Many times I have mocked simply by looking into those meanings. All right? So I have to repent and just listen carefully to see how deep this thing goes. And you'll see if you need to repent as well. Now, mockers are scorners. In the book of Isaiah 29:18-21, it tells us that scorners who watch for sin in the latter days will be cut off. Watching for sin. Watching for sin is looking out for people who are seeking out the way of the Most High and say, aha, there you go. You say that you are righteous, and look at you. Isaiah 29:18-21. Go ahead, please.
And in that day shall the deaf hear the words of the book, and the eyes of the blind shall see out of obscurity and out of darkness. The meek also shall increase their joy in Yahuwah, and the poor among men shall rejoice in the Holy One of Yasharal. For the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed,
And all that watch for iniquity are cut off.
That make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught.
So the scorner is the one that's always going to look on you and say, hey, look at you. Or about your righteous. Talking about your righteous. Look at you. The Most High says the scorner will be cut off. Another aspect of mocking is upbraiding, and we looked at it this morning in our teaching, and we're going to use the same verse. Sirach 22:22, Ecclesiastes 22:22, upbraiding.
If you have opened your mouth against your friend, fear not, for there may be a reconciliation,
Except for upbraiding.
or pride, or disclosing of secrets, or a treacherous wound. As for these things, every friend will depart.
So the meaning of upbraiding is onitzo, which means to defame, that is rail at, chide, taunt, cast in teeth, suffer reproach, revile. We're going to look at a couple of these meanings. So upbraiding is railing at a person. We're going to look at rail at, and we're going to look at upbraid to understand what upbraiding means, to get more insights into mocking. Because as we said, we know the mocking, the taunting, such you and such, you did this and such. But there is a deeper aspect to it. Railing. Let's go to Mark 15:29 to understand railing.
And they that passed by railed on him, wagging their heads, and saying, Ah, thou that destroyest the temple, and buildest it in 3 days,
Another verse.
save thyself, and come down from the stake.
So that is railing. You see how simple it is? How simple it is. They railed on him, wagging their heads and saying, Ah, thou that destroyest the temple and build it in 3 days, save thyself and come down from the stake. Yeah? Then they went on mocking.
Likewise, also the chief priests mocking said among themselves with the scribes, He saved others, himself he cannot save.
Alright? So they weren't even mocking him directly, they were talking among themselves. You see how easy it is to mock? Very easy. Just talking among themselves. What did they say?
Likewise, also the chief priests mocking said among themselves with the scribes, He saved others, himself he cannot save.
Why? Was it yesterday we spoke about the tongue or the mouth? Was it yesterday?
It was today too.
Today. Man, this how easy it is to sin, man. Very easy. So that railing there, definition of railing, to revile or scold in harsh, insolent, or abusive language. So railing is not simply saying something. You have to revile or mock or scold in harsh. So you can scold, but if it is harsh, insolent, or abusive language, then that is railing. And it says in harsh, insolent language, meaning of insolent. Insolent means insultingly contemptuous in speech or conduct, overbearing, insultingly contemptuous. So as believers, there is a sort of self-control that we must have, in which we kind of don't show any aggression at all. Or else we're right on the border of railing. Luke 23:39 gives us an example of what it means to rail on someone. How simple it is.
For behold,
No, Luke 23:39, sorry.
39. And one of the malefactors which were hanged railed on him, saying, If thou be Hamashiach, save thyself and us.
So simple.
Well,
But railing is, the thing about railing is that it has to be, it is insulting. It is rude. 2 Maccabees 12 verse 14.
But they that were within it put such trust in the strength of the walls and provision of victuals, that they behaved themselves rudely towards them that were with Yehuda, railing and blaspheming, and uttering such words as were not to be spoken.
So you see, the language has something to do with it as well. Rude, aggressive language. Words that were not to be spoken. Now the Bible even tells us that we must not keep company with a railer. We must not even keep company with a railer, to show that it was a serious sin back in those days when the disciples were there. 1 Corinthians 5:11.
But now I have written unto you, not to keep company, if any man that is called a brother be a fornicator, or covetous, or an idolater, or a railer, or a drunkard, or an extortioner, with such an one know not to eat.
So if a brother is a railer, it says, do not keep company with him. And of course, Shaul was not speaking to people in the world, he was speaking to us as believers. Thank you. So railing is a very serious thing. Now, all those who do not teach the truth of a Mashiach and sound doctrine will be railers. And we're talking about railers, you know, among ourselves, we can look within ourselves and see when we are railers, aggressively quarreling with people, with each other, aggressively arguing. One of the greatest things with railing is scriptures. The biggest example of railing you can get is being online. It's a whole world of railers. People arguing over scriptures, quarreling over scriptures, aggressively disrespecting each other, like on YouTube, in the comments, etc. All of this is railing. Facebook, being rude towards other people when in our conversations. All of those things is railing. So in other words, as believers, when we are there on social media, we have to be humble. And even when people rail at us, we cannot give and do it in return. So for example, if I could open my YouTube, I would see how many people are railing. And if I could go back, I could see how many times I've been railing back at them. Because the conversation, people seem to disrespect people when it comes to the doctrine. And they say things to each other, disrespectful things, because of the doctrines that that the other person might have. You have to be very careful about that. You have to be very passive, very humble in everything that we deliver. So those who do not teach the truth of a Mashiach and sound doctrine will be railers. 1 Timothy 6 verse 3. This is why you have people on the internet who they call them trolls. They just go around and attack and quarrel. That's all they do use their account for. They don't know that they are railers. They don't know that they are sinning. 1 Timothy 6 verse 3 to 4.
If any man teach otherwise, and consent not to wholesome words, even the words of our Master Yahushua HaMashiach, and to the doctrine which is according to kadoshness, he is proud, knowing nothing, but doting about questions and strifes of words. Wherefore cometh envy, strife, railings, evil swimmissings.
So this is the internet right here. This is the internet. Doting about questions and strifes of words. This is the internet. Whereof cometh envy, strife, railings, evil surmisings. This is the easiest way we can get into trouble. Railings. And railings is the same as reviling, which again in 1 Corinthians 6 verse 10, Apostle Shaul told us that no reviler shall inherit the kingdom. Go to Sirach 22:24. I think we did this today. Sirach 22:24.
As the vapor and smoke of a furnace goes before the fire, so reviling before blood.
So reviling before blood. But what does reviling mean? The word reviling is the same as railing. It means to subject to verbal abuse. Verbal abuse. So when we are together as believers, we cannot verbally abuse one another. That's reviling. To vituperate. To use abusive language. Abusive language. To vituperate means to abuse or censor severely or abusively. And how many times have we as teachers, I myself as a teacher has been guilty of this, to abuse or censor severely or abusively. So many times I have gone overboard in censoring people, correcting people. And the word there is berate. To scold or condemn vehemently and at length. So if we're too aggressive in scolding people or condemning people vehemently and at length, then we revile them. So let's get an example of reviling. Matthew 27:39 to 40, of how we revile.
And they that passed by reviled him, wagging their heads, and saying, Thou that destroyest the temple, and buildest it in 3 days, save thyself. If thou be the son of Elua, come down from the stake.
So this is kind of a mocking form of reviling. So reviling, it has a mocking aspect to it, as well as the railing up aspect. The railing is the aggressive, abusive aspect to it.
Brother,
Yes.
could condescending be in that too? Because condescending is just a way of saying things that's rude and very
Yes.
intentional.
Yes. All of that.
Okay. Sorry.
All right. But guess what now? I'm going to show you that This is something that I always try to tell people. And when I tell people, it is like they think that I'm saying something out of the way. When I'm saying, yes, we are reviled and another believer is reviling us and disrespecting us, treating us bad. But when we are reviled, Hamashiach, the word about Hamashiach, we're going to show, he says, when he was reviled, reviled not again. We are supposed to be like a lamb to the slaughter. So even though you might revile me, I can't be aggressive and angry or do any sin in return. I am supposed to be like a lamb to the slaughter, humble. So if we are together as believers and somebody reviles me, I am to humbly find a way around to let the person know, yes, but to be willing to take it.
Yes.
With the idea that it is good for us to be able to exercise that form of self-control so that we do not go into anger, etc. because of it. In Acts 23, 1-5, we're going to show the Apostle Shaul was reviled by the high priest. And when Shaul reviled back again, they said, you want to revile the high priest? And Shaul backed down and said, oh. And referred to the Torah, where it is written, thou shalt not revile the leader of your people. So I think they hit Shaul in the face, and Shaul was willing to take that rather than to, in return, to revile.
Yes.
Acts 23, 1-5.
And Paul, earnestly beholding the council, said, Men and brethren, I have lived in all good conscience before Allur until this day. And the high priest Ananias commanded them that stood by him to smite him on the mouth. Then said Paul unto him, Allur shall smite thee, thou whited wall. For sittest thou to judge me after the law, and commandest me to be smitten contrary to the law? And they that stood by said, Revilest thou Allur's high priest? Then said Shaul, I wills not, brethren, that he was the high priest. For it is written, Thou shalt not speak evil of the ruler of thy people.
Here we go. So the high priest reviled Shaul, and Shaul checked himself when he realized that this was the high priest. This was the authority. So when we are reviled, let's go to Mark 15:31-32. What happens when we are reviled? Let's look at Hamashiach's example. 31-32.
Likewise, also the chief priests, mocking, said amongst themselves with the scribes, He saved others, himself he cannot save. Let Hamashiach, the king of Yasharal, descend from the stake, that we may see and believe. And they that were crucified with him reviled him.
Those who were crucified with him reviled him. But what did he do? Let's go to 1 Corinthians 4:12-13 and see how we should be.
And labor.
1 Corinthians 4:12-13. Go ahead.
And labor, working with our own hands, being reviled, we bless, being persecuted, we suffer it.
Yeah, these are the most unpopular things that we as teachers can say. When we are reviled, when people revile us, we barack them. That's how it should be. We don't stay and fight and argue it out and try to show you are wrong for doing this. We just barack them. We say Yahuwah barack you. Being persecuted, we suffer it. This is one thing that very unpopular as well. When we are persecuted, we are supposed to suffer. We are not supposed to bawl and complain and etc. and argue and murmur. We're supposed to suffer because we are walking in the footsteps of Hamashiach. You see, the early disciples, what they did, they took pride. I don't want to say pride, but their aim was to follow Hamashiach. And every single opportunity they did to walk anywhere in the likeness of Hamashiach, they gladly took it. Every opportunity. So when it came to persecution, they gladly took it. When it comes to reviling, they took it, and they always remember and say, hey, I'm suffering like Hamashiach. Because that is how we should be. 1 John 2:6 said, he that saith he abideth in him ought himself so to walk even as he walked. So they sought to walk as he walked. Verse 13 of 1 Corinthians 4. Being defamed,
we entreat. We are made as the filth of the world, and are the offscourging of all things unto this day.
all right. Being defamed, what do we do?
Entreat.
We entreat. Now, what is defamation? We're looking at, let me just give a summary of what we do. We're looking at reviling on two aspects. The fact that we ourselves must make sure that we do not revile, but I'm also looking on the other aspect now of what do we do when we are reviled. Understand? So we benefit from both ways. Explaining what it means to revile and how easy it is so we don't do it, and also what happens when we are reviled. So defamed actually means to harm the reputation of by communicating false statements about. To harm the reputation of by libel or slander. So somebody slanders me, somebody libels me, which is right, wickedness or foolishness about me. Somebody communicates a false statement about me. When we are defamed, what do? Entreat. What does entreat mean? Or entreat. Entreat means to plead with, especially in order to persuade, to deal with, to make an earnest request. And that earnest request, when it falls with this, so my brother, that is not so, that is wrong. You have it all wrong. That is what you do. You don't quarrel with other persons. We don't quarrel with other persons when this thing happens. What is this? Yeah. Being defamed, we entreat. We are made as the filth of the world. How many believers we can tell where we have to be the filth of the world? How many of us are going to take this? This is where we have to reach perfection. Because guess what? When you go out into the world, you're going to be treated as filth. And are the offscoring of all things unto this day. What does offscoring mean? The offscoring of all things. Look at these English words here. I don't know them too well. Offscoring. Someone rejected by society. Someone rejected by society. So we are the rejects of society unto this day. So remember, we have to be like Hamashiach. 1 Peter 2:21-25. Don't worry, we don't have much longer to go. It's very quick. 1 Peter 2:21-25.
For even hereunto were ye called, because Hamashiach also suffered for us, leaving us an example, that ye should follow his steps, who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth, who, when he was reviled not again. When he suffered, he threatened not, but committed himself to him that judgeth righteously.
You see how we need to be? This is how we need to be. You see, if we reach to this, harmony would be easier among us. We will not be sensitive to everything that everyone does, that we do with each other. We will not be sensitive to it. Because we will be willing, just living our lives, willing to be abused. Understand? Now, not that we're going to live like that. We're going to show the person who is doing it that they are wrong. But we will be more likely to have harmony when we have the likeness of a Mashiach. Read 21 again, please.
For even hereunto were ye called, because Hamashiach also suffered for us,
Leaving us an example that ye should follow his steps. Continue.
who did no sin, neither was guile found in his mouth,
Yet,
who, when he was reviled, reviled not again. When he suffered, he threatened not, but committed himself to him that judgeth righteously.
all right, commit ourselves to Yahweh. Continue.
Who his own self bare our sins in his own body on the tree, that we, being dead to sin, should live unto righteousness, by whose stripes ye were healed. For ye were as sheep going astray, but are now returned unto the shepherd and bishop of your souls.
Now, back to the person now who is doing the reviling. A reviler cannot enter the kingdom of Alua. 1 Corinthians 6, verses 9 to 10.
Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of Alua? Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind, nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of Alua.
There we go. No reviler shall inherit the kingdom of Alua. No mocker shall inherit the kingdom of Alua. And I think the book of Proverbs, I think, has a full number on mocking. Proverbs 17, verse 5.
Whoso mocketh the poor reproacheth his maker, and he that is glad at calamities
Shall not be unpunished. Whosoever mocketh the poor, you bring a reproach to the Most High. Serious, serious, serious thing. We will not have the poor to deal with, we will have the Most High to deal with. In the book of Isaiah 28:22, the Most High tell you, if you're a mocker, you're going to get it worse than anyone else. Isaiah 28:22. Start at 21. Speaking about the end times.
For Yahuwah shall rise up as in Mount Perazim, and he shall be wroth as in the valley of Gibeon, that he may do his work, his strange work, and bring to pass his act, his strange act. Now therefore be ye not mockers, lest your bands be made strong. For I have heard from Yahuwah Aluas of hosts a consumption even determined upon the whole earth.
Even determined on the whole earth, the Most High says your bands will be strong when you are mocking, which means your punishment is going to be worse. No. The Most High tells you what will happen to the mockers in the end. Scorners, the simple ones, the ones who do not respond to him. Now, this should not be known among us as believers. Not at all. Let's go to Proverbs 1:22. The Most High says he will mock at us, at those of us who will not take heed to him.
How long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge.
Continue.
Turn you at my reproof. Behold, I will pour out my spirit unto you. I will make known my words unto you.
So he will send to the simple ones, he will send to the scorners, and he will send to the fools. All of them he will give an opportunity to hear from him. Continue.
Because I have called, and ye refused. I have stretched out my hand, and no man regarded. But ye have set at naught all my counsel, and would none of my reproof. I also will laugh at your calamity.
I will mock when your fear cometh.
When your fear cometh as desolation, and your destruction cometh as a whirlwind, when distress and anguish cometh upon you.
All right. So the scorners, the mockers, when the Most High calls, yes, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, so when the Most High calls the mockers, the scorners, the fools, the simple ones, and they don't answer, he himself will mock at them. Okay? So, just to do a recap, mockers, railers, revilers, and let me see what we have learned so far. Can somebody explain mockery, mocking, railing, reviling? Let me see what we get. Mocking. What does it mean to be a mocker? So you're gonna look it up.
Oh, I pulled it up earlier.
Mm.
To you've said them all: revile, to scorn, to make fun of, to ridicule, to yes, all those words.
Yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah.
To treat with contempt or ridicule. What about railing? Railing is when it gets harsh. Harsh or insolent or abusive. Yeah? But the examples in the scriptures, they are not even harsh. And they say they are railing. So it's easy to mock, easy to rail. If someone is doing something, for example, another believer, and you're making fun of another believer, that is a sin. I remember even in the early time of their teaching, we did that and we thought it was nothing. Laughing at other people. And this thing is, boy, serious. Serious. Yeah. All right, so anyone has anything to say on this? Any observation? Any insights? Any comment?
Yeah, mocking seems to encompass jokes. And whether you are the joker or the jokey, how you deal with it is important. If you are the joker, you should recognize that you are the joker and to cease and desist. Apologize, ask for forgiveness. Me, myself, I need to do that. I have made jokes before. I know I have. And the world will tell you that it's okay to make jokes. Oftentimes, friends joke with one another just as a force of habit. I know when I was younger, we would ride around together and we would make fun, who forbid, of each other's mothers. And we did this as a joke. And the crueler, the funnier. And you would always try to think of something a little more funny than the last guy said. And so this is just how we were brought up. They make it a part of life. And so being able to cease that is on the one side. But on the other side, to be able to take mockery or ridicule or scorning or reviling and to take it like Yahusha did is possibly a harder thing because it involves, instead of you hurting, it involves you being hurt. And so when you are being hurt, the justification of lashing out seems to be okay. The thoughts that you have in your head about that other person seem to be okay because of the hurt that has befallen you. When in fact, Yahusha, he set the standard on how we should be behaving when we are reviled. When we have crowns of thorns put on our head and whips on our back and spears in our side and vinegar and gall put in our mouth. And none of us have gone through that. So everything else is less than. And we should be able to follow, like you said, in his footsteps.
All praises.
All praises.
Anyone else?
For me, what I get is that mocking or being able to take mockery and to be, as we're reading now, to be the filth of the world is tied in with pride. So if you still have pride or an ego of any sort, it will be impossible for you to be able to take mocking. So I think that taking mocking and taking reviling is tied directly to pride and an ego, because if you have no pride, if you have no ego, then you have nothing to defend. So even if people revile you, people say such and such about you and everything, you're just going to take it and be like, it's okay. So I think the first thing that has to first die within you is pride. Then once pride is dead, then you'll be able to take anything without feeling any type of way.
Yes. That's it.
For me, mocking is using Almighty's name in vain, and that's for me. I've used it a couple of times in vain, and I feel I need to repent about that.
Oh, that's it?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? All right, so that's it. Only hope this was edifying to all of us here.
Yes.
And all those who might be listening another time. All right? All praises to the Most High. We now have another hurdle to overcome, the hurdle of mocking, railing, and reviling.
Yes.
All right, shalom, shalom.
Shalom.